Of course, they start with an alarm clock and a blonde shot. They know we've been waiting. I can't even begin to explain my excitement. Between Us is a 2022 series released by Studiowabisabi in partnership with IQI, and it's also available on YouTube. It follows the story of Win and Team as they fall in love. We know this happens because it's actually a sequel / happening at the same times story as Until We Meet Again from 2019. Until We Meet Again, I'd love to talk about in more detail, but let's suffice to say it was an extremely popular BL series that blasted off into the big wide world and blasted bounprem into the couple echelon of the gods. Between Us has been long awaited, and it has had a lot of hype around it. There's always going to be an uphill battle when you have an extremely popular ship and an extremely popular series that you're looking to carry into another show. It must be daunting to have a series that rides a lot on previous popularity, but is also going to be compared immediately to its predecessor. I love Until We Meet Again. I loved its unique premise. I loved the acting. I loved the ridiculous Lay's promotions. And I'm ready to love Between Us. Let's get into episode 1. Right away, we get the juxtaposition. Win and Team are completely different in how they wake up, in their energies, and in their personalities. I love a good, completely opposite characters get together story. We get to see the first day of school from their perspectives, rather than Parm's and Dean's. And oh my god, it was love at first sight for Win. I think. I hope. They bring back a lot of our favorite characters. Hi Manao, hi Dean, hi Parm, hi guy with glasses I only recently learned was named Prook. And also, it introduces us to characters we don't know yet, who I'm sure I'll remember the names of by the end of this, because A, B, and C is not particularly hard to remember. It seems they're going to play a little with the timelines and also with the introductions of characters, because it really seemed like Team and Lemon and Parm were the only friends that each other had. They do a good job of establishing that Team is a softie and Win is kind of cold-hearted, so we know that they're going to be great together. Despite showing us clearly that Win is already a goner, they also want us to know that he is a tsundere. So I can already happily picture the future where he's trying so hard to get and keep Team's attention, while simultaneously trying to seem cool about it. The show has put a lot of emphasis on the idea of red strings of fate and predestination in soulmates. Now, I love soulmates as an idea, so I'm super invested already. We get to learn they live in the same building, and we meet Tal, played by Yacht, who gets my love already based off of the fact that he is Yacht. We also get a bit of a double entendre with a conversation around riding bikes that leaves me with a little Love in the Air flashback, for better or worse. He's so pale. The Good Friends theme still plays a strong role that we can see in both the old and the new characters, and the references to scenes that already happened in Until We Meet Again, from the perspective of our main leads, is kind of nostalgic and sweet. Our love-struck trio of swim captains set us up on a race, and we get a little English and a little hint of the trauma that I'm going to cry over in the future episodes. From there, the show uses its minutes wisely to blast us through the events of the first episodes of Until We Meet Again, and give Dean and Parm a good amount of screen time. It's actually pretty helpful as a reminder of events without making me feel like I am rewatching the original series. The show does play out pretty well as a parallel to Until We Meet Again, and it would be interesting to watch this in conjunction to the original at some point in the future. But anyways, Parm is crying, Team is comforting, and I know that blonde hair anyway, so I expected that Win was watching. But not suspiciously? Not upset at Team and Parm? I like that type of watching a lot more. Just as I was beginning to think that I'd like to see some more interactions between Win Team instead of wistful looks from Win and obliviousness from Team, my prayers are answered by a bloody foot that probably hurt really badly having both sand and salt water washing into it. Not me being excited at one man touching another man's foot. And it does look pretty gnarly. The friends hypothesize about Dean, things anyone who watched Until We Meet Again already know. And Dean and Win have an actually sort of sad conversation about losing things versus never having anything to begin with. Dean tells Win when he finds someone to love, he will do everything in his power not to lose him. And I wonder if that was a translation choice or if Win is already out and proud in this version of the story. Not that it matters much either way, because the idea of coming out wasn't really a theme in Until We Meet Again before this. At least not in the present timeline that I remember. And I don't really mind if that trend continues for Between Us. The episode ends with Team going with A, B, and C to collectively watch a naughty video, which I never understood why this is a thing over mini series. And us learning that Team is an innocent little being of a university student. He has a reaction to the video and leaves to deal with the embarrassment that comes from that. Side note, one of the friends is wearing a chicken wing necklace, and I am distracted by that. Anyways, Win just happens to be outside to catch Team washing away his sinful thoughts. He is extremely forward, much more like he was in Until We Meet Again. Team doesn't seem to be too put off by this because he barely bats Win's hand away and only says, "Don't touch me yet." And I learn that these two kissed much earlier than I was aware of in their previous series. Win propositions Team by offering that he follows him and then slow walks away before adding, "to my room." Like, yes, we got that. And Team follows him, so that throws out my assumption that he was innocent. Then they proceed to make my jaw drop with sort of a consent talk and an intimacy I had not been expecting in episode 1. I am not complaining. Between Us had a lot to live up to with episode 1, and I was a little worried for it. Apparently it was in vain. I kind of loved it. Maybe I had slightly lower expectations because second series always have a bit of a rough start. But they really put the effort into making the episode something that will now live rent-free in my brain. It seems like this series will be hot, give us a lot more idea of what was happening to Team and Win when Dean and Parm were busy crying and having flashbacks to traumatic pasts, and also serve some misunderstandings, some childhood trauma, and some love. I am ready to laugh, cry, and blush with the next episodes. This just made me so much more excited for what's to come. Between Us, episode 1 hits it out of the park with an 8.5 out of 10 for me, and that's only because I want to conserve some of my expectations. I am looking forward to next episodes focusing a bit more on our leads and a little less on reintroducing us to events from the last series. What do you all think of Between Us, episode 1? Do you like the gratuitous swim trunks shots? Did you miss the Angel Wings tattoo too? Are you wondering if that game they are clearly advertising is going to take the distinguished spot of Team Lay's in the future? Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next week.